Hi and welcome to tonight's tutorial. Let me just get everything ready for you. Been running a little bit behind today. Thank you for joining me. I'm Pam Wrigley and I am a bridal hairstylist. And tonight we're going to do quite a quick, easy style tonight. I think sometimes when we are creating bridal hairstyles, sometimes we can have a tendency to kind of over complicate things. But you will get some clients who come to you and they just want something really simple and easy and effortless. Not necessarily easy, but certainly kind of effortless. It looks like they haven't really tried. So I'm going to show you how to create some gorgeous beachy waves tonight on my practice head who has short hair. Now let me lift this up a little bit for you, and I might just tweak this camera just a little bit. That's a bit better because I'm in the middle. That's better. Perfect. Let me come forwards a little bit as well. Now, if you have any questions as we go through tonight's tutorial, please just pop your questions into the chat box. Now, I know, good evening, everybody. Hi, thank you for joining me. I know I've noticed now every week I seem to miss one or two questions, but I'm going to try extra hard tonight to get everybody's questions. So please bear with me. Just pop your questions in the chat box. I'll do my best to get back to them. In fact, tonight, as I say, tonight I'm going to try really hard and not miss any questions off at all. So we're going to do a little bit about hair prep tonight, as well as creating a style. And we're going to learn about products. And we're also I'm going to show you how to use something like a little kind of hair slide. Now, the lady in the little thumbnail's got this little hair slide in. So I'm going to show you how you can kind of create. Sometimes you might look at this and think when it's in the hair that actually the hairstyle has been created using this, but we're going to cheat it a little bit. So I'm going to show you a really easy way of working with a little kind of hair comb like that. Now, let's have a look. So, let's have a look. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Somebody said I look gorgeous. I always like a compliment. Thank you very much. And I love a red lip. So today I've got my red spotty dress and my lovely red lip. But less about me, more about the hairstyle. So I have already done some hair prep on this practice head. And because the hair is quite short at the back, I sectioned the hair. Actually, let me go back to the beginning, hair prep and products. So at the beginning, imagine your client's got very soft, silky hair, quite fine hair. You're going to put a little bit of mousse in while the hair is dry. And you're going to pop that mousse in there, because if somebody's got kind of fine hair that has a tendency to go greasy quite quickly and easily, then they're going to want to wash their hair on the wedding day. So in order to get the hair then to kind of to have that little bit of texture that we like, that helps us to create these gorgeous kind of beachy waves, you're going to put a little bit of mousse in the hair. This is my Old Faithful, my Osis Soft Glam. But really, any mousse will do. It's just to get a little bit of, I like this one because it gives volume and it gives shine. So that's always a good start. But really, most mousses do give volume and they will all give hold. This one just has the extra bonus of getting a bit of shine in the hair. And I think now we tend to be moving slightly away from that really beachy look where we use lots of salt spray, so everything was very matte. Now everything's kind of gradually going back to that kind of shiny, glossy, gorgeous, healthy looking hair. And that's where your kind of something like a mousse that gives a bit of shine will come in. So a little bit of mousse, and then we've got our heat protector. And I tend to use this is like a 2-in-1, I think. It does lots of things, actually. In fact, it's more than a 2-in-1. It is the Silhouette Style and Care Lotion. It protects the hair from the heat. It gives extra kind of layer of shine, and it gives a bit of hold, tames the flyaway. So it actually does lots of things. So that's a really versatile product. And really, I think the kind of fewer products you can carry in your kit, the better. And those are two essentials, I would say. Now, this practice the hair's quite dry. So when I'm curling the hair, I'm literally just using the Silhouette Styling Care Lotion. If my lady had soft, silky hair, I would also use a little bit of my old faithful, one of my favourites, the Infinium Stronghold Hairspray. And this is the, extra strong, actually, this one. So section by section. So you're going to apply you put the different products in, and I'm going to do this section here for you in a minute. But let me just explain a little bit what I did at the back. So as per usual, when you're creating your bridal hairstyles, whatever they are, you're going to section the hair. Once you've got the mousse in and you've dried the hair, section the hair, clip those sections away. And on these lower sections here, I've actually used my smaller tongs. Now we have a beginner's online bridal hair course, and we also have a level 2 online bridal hair course, and they're membership sites. So you do have to pay, but you do get lots for that kind of monthly payment. Or actually, it's not monthly we do have a monthly payment option, but we also have a beginner's course and a level 2 course. And on those courses, it goes right back to basics, certainly on the beginner's course. So even when it comes to the best way to section the hair, if you're working with fine hair, heavy hair, everything's covered step by step. And really, that will make the whole styling process easier. So if you're not sure what I've already done with the sectioning, you can check our tutorials on the e-learning platform. But on these lower sections here, I used my smaller 19mm Babyliss tongs. You could use a wand, but I like to use the tong because I find if any little ends stick out, which sometimes happens with shorter hair, I'll show you in a minute how you can use the clamp to curl the ends of the hair as well. And as you're working your way up from the nape of the neck up to the crown, you're going to kind of use a brick pattern. So as you created one row of curls, on the next row of curls above, you're going to kind of create the curls so that they fall into the gaps in between the curls below. It does all make sense. When you see it on an online tutorial, you'll see exactly what I mean. So now let's curl these sections. And what we've done here is I've created each of these sections. I've kind of used like a little diagonal section here to create these different layers of curls. So I've got a little diagonal line here. And you'll find if you do a diagonal line, when the hair comes down, you don't get any visible kind of section lines. If you do a straight line, sometimes you get this visible line here from the front, and we don't want any of that. This has all got to look seamless, gorgeous, and beautiful. So diagonal lines at the side. Sometimes it's the simplest things, that you kind of think you don't even need to think about, but it makes all the difference if you just get these little simple steps right. So let's get curling these sections here, and we're going to curl away from the face. So let's get this. I hope you've all had a good week since our last tutorial last week. Now let me just brush through our lady here. Use our product. So I check my questions so I don't miss anything. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look. Well, we've got some. Oh, thank you. Should we use hair straighteners or blow drying for frizzy hair before hair prep? No, you don't need to do any of that. You could blow dry the hair before you do the rest of the hair prep, but to be honest, it's a whole nother kind of half an hour. If you're going to blow dry the hair properly first and then start doing the prep, you can just miss off that step. What you can do it's a really good question. What you can do if somebody has kind of frizzy flyaway hair, get the mousse in. And when we put the mousse in, you don't have to worry about remember it's going into dry hair. And really what I usually do I don't kind of, sometimes I might use a brush and brush the hair in the opposite direction as I'm blow drying that mousse into the hair. But more often than not, I just blast it dry. As if you were, you know, when you first do a blow dry and you get it kind of 60% dry and you just blast it first before you then come in with the brush and kind of add that detail and direction. Well, you're just going to blast the hair dry with the hairdryer, brush it through, so you're not doing a kind of blow dry as such. But if they have, let's get started with this curling. If the hair is a little bit frizzy, what you can do, or maybe has a bit of a kink or something like that, what you can do is, and I quite often do this, is before you curl, to get my words out then, before you curl, you can just get your straighteners and just smooth over the hair so it's smooth and glossy. And I would recommend, if you do that, so you use your you use your styling care lotion as a heat protector, smooth over the hair with the straighteners so it's nice and smooth and sleek and glossy and frizz free. And then what you will definitely need is your Infineon Stronghold hairspray. Let me just do this. I just smooth it out just a little bit first. Use your Infineon Stronghold hairspray, and I'm curling the hair away from the face. Use that on that section of hair that's been straightened, because if you just go straight to, after you've straightened it, sometimes it can be a bit poker straight and it might not want to hold the curl. And that's where that Infineon will really come into its own. So smooth, get rid of any frizziness with your straighteners. You don't need to blow dry, as I say. Get rid of any frizziness with your straighteners, and then you're going to go in with your Infineon Stronghold hairspray and then curl to get the beachy wave. And when you've done that, you'll find, just leave the curl as it is. It looks a bit crazy. You can see on here, I'll show you in a minute. I don't need to hold the curls on here for a long time, the tongs on there for a long time, because they're quite small sections of hair. But I don't know if you can see. Let me bring her up a little bit. Now I think you can see. See, it looks a bit like kind of crispy, kind of snaky, kind of Medusa kind of curls. And that's what you want. It'll be a little bit crispy, but don't worry about that. Okay, so we've got our crispy curls here. We're going to soften those. It's a bit like, now when we work with natural curls, a lot of the products that we use on naturally curly hair, you end up, instead of this lovely soft silky curl straight away, I brush through that, a lot of the products leave a kind of cast on the hair, and it's actually the cast that you want. And this is very similar to that. It's almost like it's setting the hair in the curl. It's not letting it move until it's kind of cooled down. So don't kind of go out and smooth it straight away. Leave it to kind of go cold and to set. In the same way when you're working with curly hair, you would leave the product to dry on the hair, and you end up with this really kind of it's literally called a cast on the hair, and it's like a crispy kind of coating. It's not edible, but it does end up giving you a perfect curl. So don't worry about that. So definitely, yes, use the straighteners. In fact, quite often what I will do, if I think somebody's hair isn't quite shiny enough or just has a tiny little bit of frizz, or maybe along the hairline here, they've got some very fine, slightly kind of wavy sections on the hairline. Even if somebody's got straight hair, what you can do then is to come in. Sometimes I'll just use the straighteners on the bits that are going to be on top. So I might use the straighteners here, kind of on the crown, and then curl. And underneath, I'll just curl. And then at the front here, if she's got any kind of fine, wispy, crazy kind of little flyaways, then I'll use the straighteners there, and then I will curl using the Infineon hairspray as my extra kind of little helper. to make sure that the curls stay in. So let's just keep curling. I'm doing small sections here. So it's quite a simple style. When my client came to have this style, this was last week, one of my ladies, and she just wanted beachy waves, very simple, pretty style. So don't feel you always have to do something that's quite complicated. Sometimes less is more. You can even, if you want to, just use your tongs to smooth out the hair a little bit, and we're curling away from the face. And the technique that I'm using, you might see that I am kind of twisting my wrist a little bit as I wrap the hair around the tong, and that's what gives us that kind of beachy wave. Otherwise, if we keep the hair flat on the tong, then we just get kind of corkscrew curl, and that's not what we want. And at the end here, I mentioned earlier about using the tongs, which is, this is one of the reasons why I tend not to use a wand, is you can capture the end there and just give it an extra little curl, an extra little turn, like that. And I'm holding the tongs kind of vertically. If you want to get some more root lift, you know, she's got quite flat hair, and especially if you wanted some root lift here on the crown, then instead of holding the tongs vertically, then I suggest you hold them horizontally, so you get a root lift, some lift here at the root, and then the curl. So then you'll get volume. You get volume as well as a lovely beachy wave. So you can smooth out the hair if you want to using the tongs, if you're worried about flyaways and you've not got your straighteners, or maybe you're working on your practice head. Because I do find sometimes when you get quite a bit of product on your practice head, the straighteners can sometimes stick a little bit. That's it. Just hold that on there. Oh, my lipstick coming off. That's not very good, is it? That's better. Okay, lovely. Turn those tongs off. Okay, now shall we get rid of our cast on the hair? So not these ones because they're still warm, but we can do these ones underneath. Now another thing we can do, I think I'll check my questions again. I think I need a fan. It's very hot here in London tonight. How long? Thank you, Adja. How long would I allow for? Oh, good. I'm glad my answer was good enough for that to that last question. Now, Adja was asking me, how long would I allow to style this on the day, including prep? Depends how much hair somebody's got. But now, what I've started doing now is I tend to leave. I like to allow a little bit more time. I don't like to be short of time on a wedding day. So in the past, I would probably say I used to do 45 minutes for prep for the bride. Now I've tended to edge it up a little bit. Now I go for an hour for prep, because by the time you've done the mousse, you've sectioned the hair, you've either straightened it and then curled, and you're working with small sections of hair. You might have noticed each of these beachy waves was quite a small section. So even if they've got a little bit, not a lot of hair, it still takes time. So I would allow an hour for the hair prep, and probably for the styling with this style, it's not long, it's probably half an hour. But don't kind of be shortchange yourself with your hair prep time. Now, and if they've got thick hair, a little bit longer. Now let's see, next I'm going to do some smoothing. And what I've just realized that I've kind of started to do recently, I do it with my own hair. I used to use this particular curl cream that wasn't quite enough. As I've got more and more grey, I found my hair's a bit drier, so I need something a little bit richer. And so now I mixed two products. One was too rich, one wasn't quite enough. So I mixed them both together. And what I'm going to do with this lady is I'm going to mix two products. So you've seen me use these ones before. We've got our L'Oreal List Control. And we also have our Goldwell Creative Texture. I think it's called Super Ego Structure Cream. And this is like super strong, this stuff. But sometimes, this is just right. This is if you've got very coarse hair, this is great, but it can make the hair look a bit greasy. This one's great, but if the hair is very coarse, it's not quite enough. So I'm going to mix a little splodge of both of them, mix them together to get something kind of in the middle. And then we're going to just smooth these curls down. That's it, go through each of them a little. And I haven't got a lot of product on my hand when I'm doing this smoothing. It's almost like a little smear. You can barely see it. It's there, along with a bit of lipstick. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So just a little smear of that product. And you're just going to take it over the curl. And as you bring your hair, your fingers kind of over the hair, it's just, you're just kind of going to break the cast. So it's kind of, it feels a bit crispy. But once you've done this, it'll be lovely and soft. And it'll look silky and gorgeous with that kind of combination of these two products. And it will also stop the hair, if it does have a tendency to go fly away and a bit frizzy, it will nip that in the bud. So nice and easy. Lots of small sections are better than a few big ones. I think we're almost there. A little bit more product. I've probably got a little bit too much product here on my hand, but get the idea. I wonder if you can see her properly. Let me see if I can bring her a bit close because it looks like it's a little bit dark. That's better. Oh, yeah, she's looking gorgeous. Maybe if I bring that in a little bit, it might be slightly brighter. I think that's all right. Hope you can see everybody okay. That's it. So I take my questions again. Let's turn her around. Oh, now that's better. Now you can see those curls a bit better. You know, I love doing these Tuesday evening tutorials because I love creating hairstyles. You know, when I first started, I trained to be a makeup artist and had to do hair as part of my training, or rather it was recommended that you do hair as part of your training to be a makeup artist because you get more work if you can do both. And I remember thinking, I'm going to be rubbish at hair. And I thought I was really bad at doing hair. And then once you start working with hair, you realize how fabulous it is. And I think sometimes we can be our own worst critics. We can kind of tell ourselves we're doing really badly when actually we're not. So don't worry if you're only just starting how to, you know, starting on your journey of creating beautiful hairstyles. Because I'm still learning. You'll always be learning. But sometimes it's a good idea to take pictures of the styles that you do and look back at them, and you might kind of think, actually, you know what? I've done a really good job on that hairstyle. So don't be too hard on yourselves. One step at a time, and you'll get there. Trust me. Especially with my help. So now, let's see. I'm going to twist this hair. Let's do our little kind of barely styled, like it's pinned back just a little bit. Then we're going to pop that little clip in. So it's going to look like we've created the hairstyle using our little clip, our little comb. But the best thing I find with any bridal hair accessory, whether it's a hairpin or whether it's a little comb like this or a clip, is to get the hair how you want it first. So I just want this little bit here pinned back. You know, she might want it pinned up away from her face. Maybe she might want a little bit more pinned back so her earrings are showing. I always work with a mirror, so check, never assume, always just ask lots of questions, because what I always say to my bride is they are the experts on them. You know, they're their own experts. So we're kind of finding out from them what they like best and what bits of, you know, whether she loves her ears, she hates her ears. We've got to work with that. So always work with the mirror and you'll find it makes your life much easier. And always maybe just say to your clients, you know, if there's anything you don't like as I'm doing the style, just let me know. Because then it gives them permission to say, actually, can you just change that bit or move the parting? And then they're happy and you're happy. Okay, so we're going to get the hair, a little twist. We did a twist, I think, similar to this in one of our recent styles, that little gorgeous Mother of the Bride high bun. And on that one, we twisted it the other way. Do you remember? We twisted it up like that. So the curl came tumbling from the top. Same twist, but now we're going to twist with the curl going down. And then you're going to get your bobby pin, pop that in the back of that twist, so it's hidden. Now I've used a blonde pin, not ideal in dark hair, but so you can see the end of that. Can you see that there? Those little, so you can't see the rest of the pin, but let's use a brown one, just so the tips don't show, just in case. You could, if she's got very fine hair, you could put a little bit of back combing here, just where you're going to be pinning it in a minute. You could use a little bit of texturizing powder if the hair is very soft and silky. And then I'm at a funny angle here, but I'm going to give it a go. That's it. That's better. And then, so I've got one pin in there, and then, so it's just kind of pull back just a little bit. You could then use one of your straight pins, this little fine pin, this one, and you could go into that pleat just to give it a little bit of extra security. Do your up, your over, and back in. And it just anchors it down. And when you're going back in, you're going underneath that bobby pin that we put there at the beginning. So now she's kind of up, it's secure. Let me check those questions again. Can we use Redken wax blast spray for hair smoothing? You can use the spray wax, and it works really well to smooth the hair. And it also works as a kind of hairspray, so it holds it as well. It's very similar to in texture once you get it on the hair. It's similar to the structure cream. I'd say a spray wax, except it's a little bit. Let me get rid of that now because we don't need that anymore. That's it. So I do use the spray wax quite often, but if the hair is quite fine, it can weigh the hair down a little bit, the same as this product kind of. I use it on its own, which is why I like to mix it with the other one, that's the cream, that's the list control, that's slightly lighter. So yes, the spray wax also works really well. So yeah, you can definitely use a spray wax. So now we've got our little piece pulled up. Let's slide this in. Make it easy. You could use your tail comb, and you're just going to slide that underneath there. You could use your tail comb to help nudge the hair in this little section here through those little bits of the comb. So let's just slide that in. Lovely. Easy peasy. You can, if you want to, pop a little bobby pin along the side of that comb. Probably might need one just on the bottom edge here. Maybe it's nice and secure, this, but it almost looks like, well, it does look like the comb is holding the hair back, but the comb's not really doing anything except sitting there being pretty, and the rest is being done by that bobby pin and the hairpin that we put in first of all. And that's it. Nice and easy. So it looks, we've got this kind of sweeping back away from her face. You could put a little bit of hairspray on there. Those lovely soft beachy waves. So tonight we've learned about the different products that you can use, how to make sure the hair looks smooth and not frizzy, not be fly away, and still be glossy, and still hold a curl. And also we've learned how to put a really pretty comb in without, sometimes you might think that you have to pull the hair back and use that to create this shape. Use the comb to create that, but no, don't worry about doing that. Create the shape you want, then put the hairpiece in. And that's it. Shall I check my questions again? I think that was a nice, let's have a look. Do I do courses for makeup? Thank you for that question. I don't do courses for makeup, just hair. And they are fabulous courses, I've got to say. So no, sorry, I don't do online makeup courses. Now, but you can always join me on my online course for hairstyling. Any other things I wanted to tell you about this week? I don't think so. I think that might be it. I do want to say hi to Sharian, my gorgeous friend who isn't very well. And yeah, I want to send her a big kiss. I hope she's, has a. I'm going to see her tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing her then. And to everybody else, have a great week, and I will look forward to seeing you next week, next Tuesday. I haven't decided what style I'm going to do yet, so if you have any styles you'd like to learn, just let me know, send me an email, or get in touch with me via YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And then I will definitely see you next week, and you won't, you'll find out, you'll know in advance what the tutorial is going to be, and you won't, we'll let you know so you don't miss it. Anyway, I'm wittering on here, but thank you for joining me, and have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.